It was a quiet Tuesday morning when two teenage boys rode their bikes up to the glass-paneled entrance of Worthington Motors, a luxury car dealership nestled in the heart of the city's upscale district. Their tires made the faintest squeak as they rolled over the tiled entryway. Dressed in combat shorts, plain white t-shirts, and worn sneakers, they looked more like they were on their way to a basketball court than a showroom filled with multi-million-dollar vehicles. No designer bits. No flashy accessories. Just wide-eyed wonder and an innocence untouched by the harsh assumptions of adulthood. They parked their bikes carefully by the side steps and stepped through the automatic doors. A gust of cool air greeted them, along with the quiet hum of soft jazz and the subtle scent of leather and polished chrome. Inside, their eyes lit up like fireworks. Sleek lines, gleaming curves, and iconic emblems surrounded them. They didn't touch anything. They didn't run. They just stood there, still and silent, as if in the presence of something holy. "That's it," whispered the older boy to his brother, pointing. "That's the one." He was looking at a midnight blue hypercar, the kind you only see on magazine covers or in billionaire garages. It looked fast, even when standing still, like it could outrun time itself. The younger boy nodded in awe. The price tag, just over $900,000, hung discreetly on a small, brushed metal stand. As they stepped closer to admire it, a voice sliced through the air. "Can I help you?" The tone was clipped, indifferent. The speaker, a salesman in a navy suit so sharp it could cut glass, approached them, adjusting his cufflinks like he was about to give a TED Talk. His shoes sparkled. His hair gleamed with just the right amount of product. And his smile? It wasn't a smile at all. It was a smirk. He looked them up and down, letting his gaze linger on their sneakers, then back to their eyes. "I think you boys might be in the wrong place," he said smoothly. The younger one looked puzzled. "We were just wondering if the cars here really start at 900 grand? The salesman blinked, then tilted his head in mock sympathy. "Yes," he said, drawing out each word. "They do. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of the used lots down the road." A few of the other staffers nearby chuckled. A couple in the middle of finalizing a sale glanced over and shook their heads with mild amusement. The boys' expressions fell. The younger one stared at the floor, while the older gave a polite nod and said, "Sorry to bother you." They turned and left, their shoulders just a bit lower than when they had entered. That should have been the end of it. Just another moment lost in the daily rhythm of espresso breaks and commission goals. But as they reached their bikes, a voice called out behind them. "Wait!" They turned. A woman stepped out from behind a desk. She wore a cream blouse, black slacks, and her hair in a sleek ponytail. No attitude, no sales pitch, just sincerity in her voice. "Do you have a minute?" she asked. The boys hesitated, then wheeled their bikes back and stepped inside once more. She met them near the car they had been admiring. "I heard you asking about this model," she said, voice warm yet professional. "It's one of the finest we carry. Wanting to show you some of its features." Their faces lit up again, curiosity returning like sunshine after a storm. She crouched slightly to meet their eyes and explained everything: engine specs, customization options, design choices. She handed them brochures and walked them through each section with patient detail. They asked thoughtful questions, not about price, but about the engineering, the story behind the brand, the innovation. She smiled, realizing they were paying attention in a way most adults didn't. "Would you like to sit in it?" she asked. "Seriously?" one of them said, wide-eyed. She nodded. They took turns slipping into the driver's seat. No selfies, no noise, just quiet reverence. When they stepped out, she gave them her card. "If you ever have more questions, call me directly. You're always welcome here." They thanked her, their voices a mix of humility and gratitude. This time, they left with their heads a little higher. Back inside, the smug salesman scoffed. "Wasting her time," he muttered. She heard him, but said nothing. Something about those boys stuck with her. Maybe it was the questions they asked. Or maybe they reminded her of herself. Once underestimated, too. That night, in a mansion perched atop a private hillside estate, the boys returned home. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, rooms bathed in golden afternoon light. Their sneakers echoed, softly as they entered. "Where's Dad?" the younger one asked. "In the study," the older replied. They passed through hallways lined with modern art and the distant sound of classical piano. Behind a cracked oak door, their father sat at a grand piano. He wasn't playing, just sitting, a glass of amber liquid untouched beside him. A man whose presence needed no announcement. "Back already?" he asked without looking up. The boys nodded. "Everything all right?" The older boy hesitated. "No, not really." Their father gestured toward two leather chairs. "Seat." They did, and after a long pause, they explained, first in halting pieces, then with more clarity, how they had been treated, how it made them feel. Their father listened. Not a single muscle in his face moved. "No anger, just quiet intensity." "Did she know who you were?" he asked. "No," the older said. "We didn't use our last name." "Smart." Then the younger boy looked up. "Why do people treat you differently based on what you wear?" Their father turned to him. "Because people confuse appearance with value, and that says more about them than about you." Later that night, after a silent dinner and a brief exchange of glances, the boys went to their rooms. "Do you think he'll do something?" the younger whispered. The older brother smirked. "You don't know Dad by now?" The answer came the next morning. Two Rolls Royce boat tails, the rarest, most exclusive vehicles in production, glided to a stop in front of the dealership. One in obsidian black and silver, the other in royal blue with rose gold detailing. Together, they were worth more than $50 million. And yet, their arrival wasn't about money. It was about presence. The glass doors parted. From the back seat of the blue boat tail, two teenage boys stepped out in the exact same clothes as the day before. Same combat shorts. Same plain t-shirts. Only this time, they didn't look around in awe. They looked around with purpose. The door of the black boat tail opened, and their father stepped out. Tailored dark gray suit. Impeccable posture. Calm precision in every step. Inside the dealership, the arrogant salesman from the previous day froze mid-laugh. Recognition washed over him like a cold wave. He stood straighter, adjusted his tie, wiped his palms. But it was too late. The trio entered. Silence followed. "I'd like to speak to the employee who assisted my sons yesterday," the father said to the stunned receptionist. The salesman sprang forward. "Sir, that was actually me." The father cut him off. "No, you weren't the one who helped them." He turned toward the dealership manager. "I assume your security system records all interactions?" "Yes, sir," the manager replied. "Then I suggest you review yesterday's footage before we continue." The manager vanished into his office. Minutes later, he returned pale. "Sir, the employee who assisted your sons was Emily Vasquez." "And this man?" the father asked, gesturing to the trembling salesman. "Inappropriate, unprofessional, misrepresented the situation." The father nodded once. "You judge my sons by what they wore, not who they were. You laughed at them, mocked them. But the irony is, you're the one who doesn't belong here." The manager stepped in. "You're fired. Effective immediately." Gasps echoed. The salesman didn't argue. He just walked out defeated. "Bring me Emily," the father said. She appeared moments later, nervous, but her eyes lit up at the sight of the boys. "Is everything okay?" she asked. The father smiled for the first time. "More than okay. You treated my sons with respect, with dignity. They were kind, curious. They liked that car," he said, pointing to the midnight blue hypercar. "I'd like to buy it, fully loaded, and make sure the entire commission goes to you." Her eyes widened. "That's over $3 million. Then make it $3.10. He signed the papers right there, at the same counter where his sons had once been humiliated. But this wasn't just a transaction. He handed the keys to his sons. "Happy early birthday." No cheers, no ego, just calm gratitude. As they drove away, the sound of the engine purred like thunder restrained. Inside, the dealership stood in stunned silence. Not because of the sale, but because of the lesson. Later, Emily received a letter from the regional director, a promotion to senior sales consultant. Her own office, her own team. Her kindness hadn't been wasted. And the desk where the arrogant salesman once stood? Empty. a silent monument to what happens when you judge someone by what they wear instead of who they are. Because true wealth doesn't need to be loud, and real power, it shows up in silence and leaves the world forever changed.